Hello, everybody. It is Tom Chenault, and it is the Network Marketing Leadership Show. I am here live from Longmont, Colorado. Very exciting. Keep thinking Adrian's going to show up in this chair. I'm so used to having him here, I wouldn't even let him take it away, but he's not here today. So it's just going to be an unbelievable show without him. The commercials will be even funnier because he's so serious all the time that contactmapping.com is so very important to him that I promised him I would mention it a lot. But today's guest is incredible. She is a woman that the first time I met her, she scared me so bad because I used to be in the stock brokerage business, and compliance was much harder in the brokerage business, and they changed the rules behind you. I mean, there was a zillion reasons why you didn't want to get called into compliance. So when I met Donna Marie, it was kind of like that. I kind of thought that she was going to be just as mean as all those compliance people that I dealt with all my life. And it turns out that she is the nicest woman, the most connected woman you're ever going to want to meet. But before we go there, Kathy Rickley, I know you're out there. I am unbelievably fond of you. I know you've been through it. I love you. Adrian loves you. And I just want to give you a real quick shout out and tell you the world's praying for you and your family and your soul. So just know that. So let's get over to Donna Marie Serritella. Hello, Donna. How are you? Do you call yourself Donna or Donna Marie? I don't have sound. I had it. I don't. So we're going to find out any second. So keep talking. But
There we go. I'm right here.
Donna Marie or just plain Donna?
Donna Marie, like Donnie and Marie from Las Vegas.
Well, I'm telling you what, like I said before, I am in awe of you. We are in a position right now in this profession where we need where the lines are more than anything else. We're being told by our companies that we cannot say gig economy, we cannot say flatten the curve, we cannot say COVID, we can't say 19, we can't say pandemic. And you've written this book, which is epic. It was unbelievable timing. It's thick. It's got testimonials from Kevin Grimes, Kevin Thompson, Jerry Nera, and whether it's Troy Dooley, whether it's John Hammock, whether it's Garrett McGrath, everybody tells me you are a rock star young lady. So are we in a predicament? Is it a political predicament? What is it that compliance is so important right now?
Well, I think it's just the times we're in. The FTC is looking for something to get people in trouble. The FDA is shaking their finger at companies too. So we just have to be prepared for it. Whatever the case is, they're definitely watching and they're definitely stirring up the waters.
And is that good news or bad news? I personally think, from Tom Chenault's where he sits, that it's good news. And people don't usually agree with me on that because everybody's scared to death that they're going to get they're going to shut the profession down. But you know what? Every now and then, they really got to throw out some lines and let people realize that this is a profession that needs to be professional. And we don't need the government to monitor it if we have high standards, like people like you keeping everybody taking the high road instead of all these pyramid schemes and all the junk, right?
Right. I think it's interesting when you look at all those pyramid schemes out there. There really are quite a bit of them, but there are some great companies out there, and we've got to be aware of the great ones. And that's why I'm so excited about teaching people where the line is. I believe there's 16 fatal errors that companies make when it comes to getting their program off the ground in compliance. Mm-hmm. And we talk about that in the book as well as some other things.
And so talk about the book. How long ago did you write the book? I obviously published this year, but you've been writing it for a long time and you just got here in the nick of time. It is the perfect storm for this book, but talk about how relevant is it? Is it all pertinent information? And is it information that people can go forward with using it as literally the Bible of the business?
Well, thank you very much. It is exciting to look at the book and realize that it took me 3 years to get it to this point. I think the reasoning was that I was waiting for Kevin Grimes. I was waiting for him to write an article that he has submitted for the last chapter of the book. And it's an article called Lessons in Missing the Point. And it outlines how serious the problems have been for companies in the past. And if you don't take consideration to the past, you're going to duplicate it. So the book is full of great lessons from Kevin Grimes, Kevin Thompson, Jerry, and myself. And we put it together over an extended period of time. But like you said, it's perfect timing right now.
Okay, I'm a brand new distributor. What can I say? What can't I say?
You can say, where are the policies and procedures?
A little bit. That's a great point.
That is the number one point. People need to understand that they sign those policies and procedures when they sign up for a program. And most company policies and procedures are between 35 and 45 pages. There is no way that a distributor gets a chance to look at those policies and figure out what they can and cannot say. So when I work with companies, the first thing I do is develop a policies at a glance document so that they'll be able to look at that and know it is a violation to use the company's name in a Facebook title. It's a violation to use the company's name in a URL. Basic things can get the distributors in trouble. They're so excited when they first get going and they want to do everything to promote their new products, but they don't know. So it's the company's responsibility to really teach them what they need to know so that they don't get in trouble.
Are there any third party, other than paying these lawyers $500 an hour? Do you know of anybody? Do you know Cheryl Kissel?
I don't.
Oh, she's a great woman. She's probably watching. But she was one of the founding members of the Distributor Rights Association before it became the ANMP.
Okay.
Was this tenacious woman that read everybody's policies and procedures and then explained it to the ANMP. And if you came to the convention, she would explain your policies and procedures to you so you didn't have those holes in the boat, which is much needed. Do you know of anybody that does that? Like any consultants that isn't? You ought to do that. That would be a little side.
I do to a certain extent. I work with the companies. When the attorneys give the policies to the company, I'll work with the company to kind of nail down certain things that might not be in there. Social media is so huge now, and they don't define what you can and can't do on social media in most of the older sets of policies that I've seen.
Now, let me ask you a question. Don't the companies write the policies and procedures to protect the companies? So
Yes.
isn't it a little insane hiring you if you're working for the companies? Because it seems to me like that's like not what we want. We need somebody that's on the distributor side saying, listen, you got no rights here, because they keep changing the policies and procedures. I think everybody knows that in the old days, the whole speech used to be that you could take your personally enrolled people to another company without getting in trouble. They were your property, so to speak. But now, across the board, all the policies and procedures say, no, that's not true. Even though you personally enrolled them, you are not allowed to take them to another company. And I think that's almost all the companies. I don't know any companies that aren't that way anymore. And that's kind of a late slip in. And distributors need to know that stuff, don't they?
They do. They need to know quite a bit of what's in their policies and procedures. When companies voluntarily shut down, there's a clause in there that says they can do that. They reserve the right to shut down if they choose to. And after all these companies have had so much trouble, I've gotten calls from people saying, how can they do that? How can they do that to us? I'm sorry, it's in your policies.
Yeah. And even though it isn't me versus them, it kind of is, you guys. And what you want to remember is they've got a business to protect and you've got a business to protect. And the best way for you to protect your business is to understand the policies and procedures so you're running your business congruently with their policies and procedures. Because what they're going to say to you, you're going to get a letter and they're going to say you violated this, and you're going to say, I didn't even know. And they're going to look at you going, you started a big business. Not understanding the policies and procedures of the company that you built the big business in, that's insanity. And it truly is, right? This is serious stuff.
It is, because it can jeopardize their income.
Yeah.
People don't understand what they're signing up for, and they don't understand. Mostly, Tom, it's the implications of income claims and product claims.
Right.
Those are the two things that are hot right now, and they raise red flags. And if a company gets too many red flags, the regulators are just going to come in and join the company and do an investigation for 6 months or a year.
Yeah, and even getting the letter
Mm-hmm.
or the FTC scares the companies and the distributors and the world, and then the other competitors use that as really leverage against your company. So the name of the game, all of you out there, is protect your company with everything you got. And we've got the Sean Murphys, we've got the ANMP, we've got Eric Worre, we've got Ray Higdon, we've got Rob Sperry, we've got Todd Falcone. We've got a lot of people really, really standing up and saying we have got to band together and take the high road and get rid of the big money claims, flashing cars, flashing stuff tied to your company. If you live in a big house, it's very, very difficult for you to say, I don't live in this house. But when you tie that to your network marketing opportunity, you're creating a problem, and they're not going to be happy with that, right, Donna?
Yes, it is an implied claim. If you show a house and a car and diamonds, those are all implied income claims.
Yeah, and so what does that mean? I mean,
well, you have expressed claims where you say something, I made $15,000 last year. And then you have implied claims, like when you see a PowerPoint video or PowerPoint and the money's floating down from the sky, or the money is jumping out at you, money's dancing. Those are implied claims that you're going to make that kind of money.
Yeah. And so, okay, so I have a house. I live in my house. Are you? So I live in my house, and I say, it is so nice having coffee with Denise on the deck this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell me that's an implied claim.
No. If you were living in a mansion and you had this picture and you were saying, join me in my network marketing business, you would have to be, you're not just talking about having coffee, but if you're marketing your program and you're using that as a backdrop,
right,
then it might be problematic.
Yeah, I don't do that. So that's what I thought. Completely keep the, I don't show anything. I have nothing. I'm just like an old lumpy guy here in Colorado who, I don't live in California or any of those hotshot joints like Dallas, Texas or anything. So I'm right here in Longmont. Where do you live?
I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm right here.
So how's it going over there? Eric Worre said, man, everything is really, really, really very, very scary as far as tourism and hotels closing. And
it is. It's depressing to see the strip and see the hotels that are having problems. And, not all the hotels have reopened, and now they're having problems with, more cases. So we don't know if they're going to start shutting things down again. They did shut down the bars and some of the nightlife, but we really have we've gotten a direct hit here in Vegas.
We got to take a little break here, Donna Marie. Okay. I love you. We're going to come.
I love you too.
It's the Network Marketing Leadership Show on the Genesis Communications Network. Stick around. We'll be right back. And I wasn't kidding. We're right back. This is the
right.
And guess what? I am the commercial man. So let's see who's watching, because we're going to, oh, good. Cheryl Kissel is on here, and she is barking, which is perfect. She is you need to know her. She is a good woman, and she's tough as nails, and she would be the one that should have a business advising the distributors on what their policies and procedures say. So at least everybody could pay her $20 or $50 to read the policies and procedures, and she would be the person. So that's a good business for you, Cheryl. You probably have $10 billion, and it isn't something you need, but that we sure need you. And Leslie Herbert, Doug Starr, love you, buddy. Kathy Rickley, I talked about you at the top of the show, and I don't know that you were on air, but I want to let you know I love you with all my heart. You are a great woman, and you've been through it, and I want to say that again. Contact mapping. Unbelievable book, this little book called The Copy Shop Interview. You can buy this baby on Amazon. It is the copy shop interview that I have been using, and it's the only reason I'm successful. Only reason is that I absolutely have learned that my agenda is your agenda and nothing else, and I never live in what's in it for me. I live in what's in it for you. And I interview you through this book right here. I teach you how to do it. Then I teach you how to document it. I teach you how to put it in your contact mapping app. I teach you how to hit the follow-up button. I teach you how to actually follow up on touches instead of being a barking chihuahua, and it is poetry in motion. And I want you guys to understand it's the most important thing. And Richard Bliss Brooke, I think you know him, pretty good guy, been around a long time. His wife wrote this beautiful book called The 4-Year Career for Women. I do something called the Hair on Fire call every morning. I stole the name from Brooke before I ever realized he was going to be my friend. I just stole it from him, so I'm always trying to pay it back. And he also wrote The 4-Year Career, which is an unbelievable little book too. So the reason I'm telling you all that is Brooke told me that he wished to high heaven that he had mapped everybody he ever met in his life. And as a case in point, he pulled up his phone. He said, I don't even know who this woman is. And he showed me the name on the phone on a Zoom in front of a bunch of people. And it was a woman named June Jones. And it was over in Hawaii. And I said, Richard, don't call June Jones and ask for June. He said, why is that? And I said, because a man's going to answer the phone. His name is June Jones, and he's the head football coach at the University of Hawaii. And Brooke started laughing like crazy. And he said, yeah, I played golf with him one day. I cannot believe I forgot it. I've been looking for him for a long time. And there he was, hiding right in Richard Brooke's phone. So, had Richard Brooke typed in the word golf in the contact mapping app, had he typed in the word Hawaii, had he typed in the word football coach, and had mapped him instead of just put in his name and phone number, all those people that he ever played golf with would have popped up. All those people that lived in Hawaii would have popped up. It would have been all over but the crying. And Richard Brooke was the first to say, I can't imagine how successful I would be if I'd mapped everybody I'd ever met. And it's the same thing for an old goat like me, Tom Chenault, 69 years old. Yesterday, I spoke with Mark Victor Hansen, same story. All of us just wished we'd map people, but there was no way to do it. Now we've got it, contactmapping.com. We're leaving right now. And we're back. This is the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Donna Marie Serritella, and she is the author of an extraordinary book called Compliance Solutions, What the FTC Won't Tell You. And talk about this book a little bit. Tell people why they have to have it. Tell companies why they have to have it. And tell us when you're going to write a much simpler book for us ADD distributors, because those are all important questions.
I am writing another book for distributors that will be specifically what to say and what not to say. This book was written originally for company owners, whether it was a startup or a company that's been in business for a year. It was written to teach people how to set up a compliance department. I've been working in this field since 1991, and I would meet owners and ask them, who's running your compliance department? And they would say, I don't know, maybe customer service. We don't have a compliance department. And what we found is that when regulators do come in, they have a long list, Tom. They give you a letter and it's a long list of things to come up with. You've got to know who you've terminated, who you've suspended, who's made income claims, what actions have been taken to prevent those in the future. You can't just willy-nilly give all your compliance calls to customer service or the owner's wife or whomever takes care of the compliance issues. So the book was written to teach people how critical and important it is to make the time to get compliance as a priority, because it's either pay now or pay later. If you don't do it and they come in, you are going to have a headache from here to Texas.
A very brilliant and smart woman told me that you can measure the quality of a company by the lower number of terminations that they have over time, because they absolutely work really, really hard not to terminate their distributors. And then there's companies out there, you think back about Bill Gould, which, you know, that if you go back to Equinox days, I mean, I was just getting into network marketing when I heard about he'd walk into a room and take like one of the top guys in the room, and this may not be true. So fifth, so please, whatever you do, don't fact check me on anything ever. But at the end of the day, I heard he would just walk in to make an example and keep the rest of the troops in line. He'd just pick some guy in the crowd and terminate him just to make everybody understand they better keep towing the line. And that's bad. And that's terrible. So what I'm trying to tell all of you is find a company and check their termination record. See how they are around conflicts, because things go wrong. I mean, it's a miracle. Over 22 years of me being in my company, I haven't been terminated because I've broken rules and everything. I mean, I've done it all. But, I straighten out and then they don't kick me out. And that's the most important thing. And I think that's big advice, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I definitely believe in handling compliance with kid gloves. I am not someone that will, drop the axe on someone. I give people a second chance. We use affidavits that allow people to fill in that they understand the policy that they broke and that they understand if they do it again, they could get suspended or possibly terminated. Yeah. And they have to send that back in to the company compliance department when they've really messed up and they say, please take me back, I won't ever do it again. So, we do use the affidavit to kind of soften the blow and get them to understand, next step is a suspension or a termination.
And you were with Zeke Rewards.
I wasn't.
You weren't?
I never, ever had anything to do with them.
Okay, good. All right.
Thank you, God.
I know Kevin was then. And I busted Kevin on that and OneCoin. And I said, how can you take money from OneCoin, and how can you, on the other side, out of the other side of your mouth, be taking, saying that they're horrible? I was in Amsterdam at the OneCoin convention almost. It was Ted Knighton's deal, but the whole crowd was OneCoin, and Kevin Thompson went crazy on him. And I went, holy mackerel, because somebody in the crowd goes, he's like working for us. So I busted him on it later, and he said, Tom, who better than me to go in there and try to straighten those people out? I'm going to get hired by all kinds of companies to straighten them out before they go out of business. And that's kind of like you. So, they got to bring in the firemen. Otherwise, we got a problem. So is that true or not true? I mean,
oh, absolutely. And the one company that I was involved with that did get shut down, and the regulators came knocking with guns and all. And excuse me, and that was a company in Southern Florida that I was involved in. I lost my train of thought. You were talking about the
no, going to work for a company, and people you're working for them, but you're in there to clean
them up. I was brought in to clean up the legal documentation with Jerry Nura. Good. And you know what? Sometimes it's just too little, too late.
Yep.
Sometimes you can't clean them up, and sometimes, Tom, those owners, they can be so stubborn thinking they know all and that they're confident they have their compliance in order.
All right, we got to take another break. This is live radio, so we're coming right after this. Stick around on the Genesis something network. I love you, Communication Network. We'll be right back. And we are back. Okay, this is the break, so you can goof around, you can cuss, you can.
Well, I love contact mapping. I've been studying it for the past month.
Oh, contact, it's cool, isn't it?
It is. It reminds me of, have you ever heard of Harvey Mackay's 66?
Do you know who I talked to yesterday?
Who?
Harvey Mackay.
No, you didn't.
4 years old, starting 2 brand new companies right now.
Oh my gosh.
I talked to him yesterday.
That was how I learned to contact map without contract mapping.
And so the whole thing about contact mapping, the tagline is humanize your address book. We subconsciously, first of all, I swiped a lot of it from Richard Brooke because he's a tremendous contact mapper, and Harvey Mackay. So he is a lifetime dream man. 2 people, a guy named Bob Bodine, who wrote The Power of Who, and Harvey Mackay. I literally have pictures of them in my wallet. They're my idols. So Eric had Harvey at his house, and I literally tackled him and got to spend a ton of time, and we helped him promote some books, and I'm going to help him with some other stuff that he called me about yesterday. But Harvey Mackay is 84 years old. He's down in Arizona. He is absolutely COVID protected, man. He's even making his grandkids quarantine, whatever that word is. And Harvey's the best. He's still just like that. Don't you love him?
Yep. When I worked in oral surgery for 7 years, the oral surgeon was huge into Harvey. And we would make charts on every oral surgeon that he worked with on, do they like golf? Do they like this? What their favorite wife's flower? What? And we would have charts in the file so that we would know, oh, they like baklava. We'll send them baklava because the doctor was Greek, and we would send baklava to everybody.
1970, I worked in this restaurant, and 75,000 people would come through the door a month. It had no liquor license, and it was all old people. And we were the busiest restaurant in Colorado. And the reason is we had a Dewey Decimal System, and those people would come in the door, and we would write down everything about the family, and then we would grab the person least likely to get a compliment. Because it's the beautiful girl that gets all the attention, and the little homely sister nobody ever pays attention to, or the grandmother with the blue hair and the earrings. So we would compliment the person the least likely to get a compliment on the thing they liked the most about themselves. Whether it was a handbag, whether it was earring, whether it was, they just got in those days, it was, you just got your hair done with the old ladies. And come back in a couple of weeks later, and we would ask about him and mention the hairdo, and everybody would faint, and they'd come back the next Sunday. And that's how the food was terrible. No liquor license, no even get drunk. We were right next door to the mortuary. It was all mashed potatoes and fried chicken, but we were so busy because we remembered people, because all we want to be is remembered. And what you love most about me is what I remember about you. And it's the same thing backwards, isn't it?
It is. It really does apply.
So this whole contact mapping app, and Adrian, please watch next week because Adrian will explain it to you. But it's sophisticated stuff. His partner's got a PhD from MIT, and these guys are protecting your data. Because I'm telling you, if Facebook's free, right? LinkedIn's free, right? Twitter's free, right? You're out of your mind. If it's free, you are the product, and all they're doing is using your data and selling you to the highest bidder. And what contact mapping is all about is not letting that happen. So there's a million reasons you want to do that, and there's a million reasons you want to be a better contact mapper. And it isn't just network marketing; it's about being a better human being. And that's what I want you to do. So go to the App Store, download the app. It's free. Just go there and download it. Tinker around with it. In the comments, somebody will put up, if you don't understand what you're doing, which is impossible, because an app is supposed to make you feel smart. It's supposed to make you feel good. And that's what contact mapping app is. So you don't need a coach. But if you do want a VIP onboarding, Adrian is going to kill me for this. All you need to do is go to contactmapping.com/VIP. And we got an unbelievable kid. Maybe the most beautiful man you ever want to meet in your life. How old is he, Marianne?
He's like in his mid-20s.
Handsome. People drive by and come by this office just to see Jason, and that might sound all kinds of chauvinistic, but hell with it. And then the second thing about it is Elizabeth. So we will onboard you. We will change your life. So let's get out of here. Commercial over. And we're back. It's the Network Marketing Leadership Show with Tom Chenault, and Adrian's not here. And we've got Donna Marie Serritella, and she is just the woman. She is the compliance queen of all time. I saw during the break that Cheryl Kissel talked about a book written by the Distributor Rights Association by Rod Cook, Marcy Cook, obviously Sandy Cohen, Cheryl Kissel, Peter Mingles, who I talked to yesterday too. And Jim Lupkin. I just saw Lupkin's on here, and him and Mingles know each other. But the point I make to you is we're all in this thing together to make this profession bigger, better, bolder. Steve Wallach, people like that are committed to the distributor. I'm telling you, you want to jump in the foxhole with them. So take it away. Let's talk about your book some more. It's a very long segment.
Okay. Well, I do think there are 16 things that get companies in trouble.
Okay.
And of course it's the all, everybody knows the lack of customers, poor planning, poor product value, those types of things. But we see other things that get distributors in trouble. The PCI side of it with the credit cards. How many times have you been in a program and they have you write down the credit card on a piece of paper, and they never tell you to destroy that piece of paper? Well, that's against the rules. There's a lot of different things that we want to look at when we're teaching testimonials. that's a hotbed right there.
Yeah.
A hot mess, you might say. Testimonials can get a company in so much trouble.
Hot mess bed. So, what is the story on that? Can you give us like a 30-second dissertation on what a testimonial can look like and can't?
I can, and I can even show them in the book what a testimonial looks like. Woo! I have a testimonial worksheet. I think it's important to work through your testimonial on paper before you stand up and make that declaration that the company is the best company in the world. But inside of the book, there is a testimonial worksheet that allows you to go through. Of course, it's the common stuff: your name, where you're from, what the problem was. I had problems golfing. I couldn't lift my arm. I couldn't twist. I couldn't move. Those are great things to claim. And then, of course, you took the product and you feel great. You feel fantastic. I like to teach people how to do testimonials in an Italian style with their hands and with the descriptive words that they use, more so than using disease names and symptoms. Let's make your testimonial exciting so people will remember it.
Wow. How about that? Instead of a bunch of information here's the deal about information. None of you are doctors. Very few of you are doctors. And you're just throwing up on people with all this data. What you're going to do is go home and Google you anyway, because they're saying you're a plumber. People look at me and I'm telling them to buy a weight loss product. What are you, out of your mind? I'm going to go Google it. That guy's lying. He's got anorexia, dyslexia. So the name of the game is don't even get in that trap. Just be so excited that they have to buy that, right?
Right. That's the real mission of it. The people that can tell their testimonial with some oomph are going to get a whole lot more out of it than people talking about diseases that nobody knows what they are.
So the name of the game, everybody, is keep your company in business with your excitement and be a product of the product. Live like you're going to absolutely live forever. Act like that. You have absolutely got the chance right now to have people buy you instead of it. And I believe, and I talk about this all the time, that we spend far too little time having people develop their best self. And when you start developing your best self and you're true to yourself, you don't have to bull crud anybody. You don't have to do that. You can be authentic. You can be real. You can look people in the eye. You can tell them the truth. You can be authentic. You can be vulnerable. And all of a sudden, they're going to buy that. And then they're going to buy your product. They're not going to buy all that noise anyway. I mean, I got in trouble at GoPro because I was so mad at this guy because I'm not exactly a hockey stick with hair. And every time I walked into Starbucks, this guy would peel across the room with a weight loss product, and in front of everybody goes, "Tom, do you think you want to try some of this yet?" And bought that if it would have been free. If he'd have paid me $500 to take it, I wouldn't have taken that out of his hand. But all of a sudden, it was because with that, you don't do that. You love people. Mm-hmm. If I love that guy, I'm going to turn around and buy it from him. He's my friend now, by the way. He's still
good.
But I wanted to wring his neck with that product.
Well, you have to use common sense.
Yeah.
You can't shove things down people's throat. They know if you're insincere and you come at them, "Hey, Tom, I haven't talked to you in 15 years. How you doing? Do you want to try my product?" Mm-hmm. It just doesn't fly. People are aware of those kinds of, situations.
If you can learn how to make people's agenda your agenda, and you drop them off right where they want to be versus where your agenda wants to take them, all of a sudden your life shifts and you are not looking at people like they're a prospect anymore. You're looking at them as a human being that you can make a contribution to. And Richard Brooke again talks about you bring 100 people into your business, 80 of them are probably going to be customers if you've done your job right. 15 are probably going to be distributors wanting to make a little bit of money. And if you're lucky, 4 or 5 of them are going to want to be influencers that want to build organizations. But the overwhelming majority are just going to be customers, and honor that instead of trying to throw something down their throat they want no part of, right?
Mm-hmm. Kevin Grimes always says, customers are good for business. Customers are an excellent thing. Don't ever underestimate the power of customers. Just customers, not distributors and customers, just a customer.
Yeah, and if the companies would just build the definitions, here's what a customer is. Somebody that buys your product. Here's what a distributor is. A distributor is a distributor the minute they distribute something. So most of these companies talk about how many distributors they've got in their organization. Those are just customers. And what ends up getting convoluted is misrepresentation. Let a customer be a customer. If they want to step up and become a distributor, make a little money, charge them a little extra dough, let them become a distributor, and the party's on. Because they bought the right to get commissions and actually build a little organization, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important for new companies to have a, a line in the sand for customers versus distributors, and that the distributors should pay a little bit for a starter kit.
Yeah.
It makes it, just a little further away from everybody saying, oh, I want to be a distributor, because that's not good for business.
No doubt about it. And then your ratios, they don't really want to be a distributor. They didn't say they wanted to be a distributor. So
Right.
income statements going out there, and all of a sudden they're totally ridiculous because 80% of your people are in that formula of never making any money because they didn't want to, and it looks like this business nobody makes any money. So I can't remember Tim Sales has an unbelievable presentation coming on that very fact of really laying out what the real numbers are, and it's going to blow your mind, Donna, because he did a ton of work on it. He's a bright guy, and I saw the presentation with Eric Worre and a bunch of people the other day, and people are grabbing hold of what you're talking about with both hands. We want to tell the truth and protect this profession, which is what, have you noticed I'm talking a lot more with my hands than
Good. That's the Italian in you. See, that's good.
All right, beautiful. So what else do you want to say?
I'm so excited about the book. Today is the first day on Amazon.
Really?
And a friend called and he bought the first book off of Amazon today. So today is the launch.
Well, today's the launch, you people. Okay, so we're going to take a break, but not right now. But in the break, don't listen to me talk about contact mapping. Don't listen to me talk.com or talk about Richard Brooke and all his great books. Don't go out there and buy Rob Sperry's book or go buy Girl Pro. Don't do that. Go buy this book during the break. It is unbelievable. Compliance Solutions, What the FTC Won't Tell You We Will, by Donna Marie Serritella. Serritella. This is
Got it.
Let's drive this baby up to the top of the Amazon bestseller list. And that's fun to do. This book here, actually, great segue. This contact mapping coffee shop interview book. We got this thing to the top of 2 different categories in Amazon in a month just by word of mouth. And
Wow.
yeah, we did. True story. This is a real book. This is an essay I wrote. So you want to buy this book. So you take your money and buy this book. How much is this book?
$39.95.
$95. This one will save you $38.95. Not worth it. So do me this favor, save your money and buy Donna's book, because it's unbelievable and it's going to keep you in business. It's going to help you keep your company in business, and you want it. I promise you that. So I'm just telling you. Do you have a website?
I do. Direct Selling Solutions. The name of my business is directsellingsolutions.com. And we've got a nice little splash page in there that we're setting up. So I'm getting into all the technology, Tom. You'd be proud of me.
Always been proud of you, and I'm getting more proud of you by the minute, because you're a good woman, and not good people need to finish first, and what she's doing is having that happen, and it's kind of like the tortoise and the hare, because you've got these goofballs out here taking some. In fact, Dana McGrady just is a great little distributor. She sent me a note the other day, and she was talking about some numbers. I went, holy mackerel. So I thought, this is horse manure. And I called her on the phone and I said, you are really doing those numbers? She goes, oh no, Tom, you read that wrong. Go read it again. And she told me the real numbers, but she hadn't inflated anything. She's a real human being, talking about her volume, talking about how she's been in her new job or her new gig for about 6 or 7 months, and where she's gone, and it was a great little rise. She's just making it happen. Her team's making money. That's enough, isn't it? Instead of all the happy horse manure.
It should be enough. People just want to exaggerate what they're doing. And there's no reason for it, because people are intrigued with the little money and they know it's going to turn into the big money. So tell the truth. Don't misrepresent what you're making or what your product will do or your company will do. Tell the truth, and it's enough in this industry now.
And here's the quote that you have to remember. And please remember this. Do your due diligence. Check the backgrounds of the principals in your company. If they've been in jail, that's a tell. Because the lifetime of the opportunity is only as good as, I can't remember the quote, as the lifetime of the opportunity. You know, it's the opportunity of a lifetime is only as good as the opportunity. I don't know. You can figure it out, but it's interesting. So the name of the game is, we're going to take a break. And so I've got some time to actually tell you about Genesis Communication Network. They are unbelievable. Ted Anderson is the owner, and he's got 550 radio stations he serves with his satellites all over the world. And he has graciously let this show be on for over 12 years. And he's a rock star. And I can't thank him enough for being the backbone of the Network Marketing Leadership Show. I am forever indebted to him. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. And my wife's actually watching because my wife loves you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she thinks you are all of it in a bag of chips. Doug Starr, see him. You guys, James Earl Moore's on here. Everybody's saying hi to Doug Starr like they like him. That's exciting. Cheryl Kissel, I'm telling you, she is all over it. I'm going to hook you guys up after this because I think be your secret consultant. Even my mother-in-law's watching. All your buddy Troy McKnight, big guy in the business. Kim Calabrese, legend. I mean, it is very, very cool what's going on here. But all of you, I need to, I have a new hack. Do you guys want to see my new hack? You ready for it? Okay, good. I can tell everybody's just cheering. Donna, Donna Marie. So it's Donna Marie, Tom. What are the two things that you remember most about me?
That you are an avid AA follower and a survivor.
Yep.
And that you have a beautiful wife. And at the ANMP, you came up to me and scared the bejesus out of me. You gave me a big kiss on the lips, and Kathy and Luann were there, and all of us went, oh. I think I was more surprised than anybody. And Kathy got it on a picture. I tried to find that picture so hard today and I couldn't find it. I was more surprised than anybody.
That's what you, so I don't remember that.
I do.
But that's what my point is. That's why all of you have got to put that in your database, in your contact mapping app. Because next time I see Donna Marie, I'm going to look at her and go, do you remember when I kissed you on the lips and that girl took the picture? And we are all just absolutely glowing because of the funny moment that it was. So what I'm asking you guys to do, you know, I trained this coffee shop interview like crazy, but yesterday on two different occasions, two different people, Christy Woodring told me, and she's an icon. She was over at a company forever that I was involved with many, many years ago. And she said, what I remember about you is coming to your house, coming to your coffee shop, and then let me drive your Lexus and you let me self-park it. And I would have never remembered that. And I asked her, and she goes, don't you want to remember what I remember and love about you, Tom? And then this other guy did the same thing from Salida, Colorado. He goes, don't you remember when I met you at the airport and you were so nice to my wife and I? I mean, it means something. Ask people. Ask people. It works. It's crazy, don't you think?
Oh, I think it's, you know, I have that sometimers. It's not all timers, but it's sometimers. And I can look at somebody and not remember anything at all about them. But if I have a little note to remind me, that's all I need.
Yeah. And what, for me, I mean, everybody says, how do you do that? I read the notes as I go in the door. I have that in the back of my mind so I can actually, you know, nothing's worse than, I've got 3 kids, and nothing's worse than somebody walking up to me and say, how are your 4 kids? And I just, gee, mini Christmas, I thought you loved me. So the name of the game is, I have it, I look at it, I review it. As soon as they leave, I hit the microphone and I pour in the entire conversation, free form, and it's all over but the crying. And you can do that by going to contactmapping.com. Don't tell Adrian, but go to get the app off the App Store. download it, then go to contactmapping.com/VIP and we'll onboard you. And it's all free. You're all set up. And of course, there's going to be another close on the other side of that down the road. So prepare for that for about $30 a month. But we're going to get you. We want you. We want you being great contact mappers. We're coming back right now. So stick around, Donna. And we're back. It's the final segment of this unbelievable network marketing leadership show. Hello, John Hammock. It looks to me like you all bought a lot of these books. I saw Troy McKnight is going to buy it right now. I hope you bought it during the break. It's called Compliance Solutions. What the FTC won't tell you, we will. Go to Amazon right now. Buy it. I want to keep all of you in business. I want you to keep your company and your upline in business, and I want you to keep your downline in business. And if you've got the information, the one with the most information on this particular topic wins. I really, really believe that. And if you you go one pass through this book, I read it, and it is epic. I want you to buy this book. $39.95. Think about it. It's an investment in your business. It's a tax deduction. You want to own it, right, Donna?
Absolutely want to own it. If you're thinking about starting a network marketing company, if you have a network marketing company, it's essential to get your compliance ducks in a row.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And my wife keeps telling me to call you Donna Marie, not Donna. And I'm so ADD, I completely...
Oh, you're okay.
Donna Marie.
You can remember it by thinking of Donnie and Marie in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Do you ever see her anymore? Did she really hold all that? You don't see her?
No, I haven't seen her. I went to the show 3 times. It was a wonderful show, but they shut down.
Yeah, she peeled a lot of weight with Jenny Craig or something.
Yeah, one of the Nutrisystem.
Was it? Yeah, she did it. So that's exciting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The guy probably handed her the wafer at the Starbucks too, and she took it. There he is. So anyway, you guys, what I want you to do is protect your business with your life. You're in business to stay in business, and your company's great, and you want to protect them, but they might not necessarily protect you. And you have got to take responsibility for your destiny by understanding your business, understanding what you can say, what you can't say. She's actually got a testimonial worksheet in the book. So you want that so you can do this. And this thing's going out on Ted's blowtorch on Saturday. So this will go out on all his radio stations, and this will also go out on the podcast. So people are going to be watching this thing. It's called the Network Marketing Leadership Show podcast, and you want to subscribe to that because we've got all the shows up there. They're described. There's beautiful descriptions. And what we want to do is get the word out on Donna Marie because she is a rock star. Don't you agree, kid?
Oh, you're so good. You're just wonderful to me. Make me blush.
Well, there's all kinds of people on here flirting with you on the comments on Facebook, which is very, very cute. Who do we have next week, Marianne? Do we ever want to say that? Why don't you come on camera? We haven't seen you the whole show.
All right, I'm coming on camera. I actually...
Niehaus is the producer of the show.
Yes, I'm wearing my contact mapping shirt too.
In her own right. So who do we have next week?
We have David Rutz.
Oh,
David Rutz is going to be on. He's awesome.
For network marketers I've ever known. He has a company called David Allen Capital, and underneath that, he is so all over the world on compliance because telemarketers, I mean, those guys are all just crazy now, and he is on an absolute mission to keep his people from being called robocallers or anything like that. And so, yeah, very, very, very good news. So Mark Victor Hansen calls yesterday. And, you know, he's just back and he is doing gigantic stuff. So he calls Marianne and says, when can I come on the show? And it's just exactly like Jerry Colano, the guy from Reboot. We are so far into a long way from now, we can't even get people on the show because of people like you that we had to get in here. So if you want to come on this show, we are actually I'm actually going to start doing 2 or 3 radio shows a week because we've got the ANMP coming up. And I want to get all those speakers on the show. So I am just about to become as busy as a one-armed paper hanger. And the reason is because we've got to get the word out about all these quality people like Donna Marie. So go get this book right now. It's an order. And while you're at it, it's $39.95, right?
Yes.
So you add $1, and it's $40.95. Add this little manifesto to the cart, buy both books, and I have no idea how much these books cost for your career in Mach 2. But while you're at it, why don't you learn how to be a network marketer too? So whatever I'm doing, I'm just telling you, let's have some fun with this thing and stay in business and keep yourself in business and your team in business. I love you, Donna Marie, and thanks for coming.
Well, thank you. Let's see. This is the compliance queen signing off. Thank you, Tom.
Love
Thank
you.
you, Marianne.
Thank you. Great show
Everybody
today.
do the right thing or you'll see me.
Amen. She
All right.
the only reason I kissed her on the lips was because I had to get on the good side of her, and it flabbergasted us both. But she kind of, and I have to be honest with you, she sent me flowers 2 days later. It was awesome. Thank you. Look at that wave away. No, that didn't happen. That was a Tom tall tale. But you guys, have fun with your business. Keep it in business. This business is the greatest profession on the planet. I came into it kicking and screaming 30 years ago. It's given me my life. I think I made some sort of deal with God that if I'll help alcoholics and drug addicts, he's going to help me make a living. He's going to help me find the greatest wife in the world, which he did. He's going to help me grow up with my kids, Adrian, Courtney, and Dominic, which I did. All because of network marketing. I was able to work from home and actually show my kids how hard life is, because this business is hard. It takes a long time. Cars repossessed, phones turned off, bad things happening. But at the end of the day, I never gave up. I stayed inside of the lines of what's going on in this book called Compliance Solutions. I was able to stay in business for these 30 years, and here I am now doing okay. A long life of work that paid off because I stuck with it. I played by the rules, and I'm telling you all, I want you to try to do the same thing. Success isn't guaranteed, but it's certainly possible, which is better than what you're probably doing now. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.